Champion! This is Pat. I'm here with Jay Black and Mike. We're here to discuss Traffic 3 going down later tonight in LA. I'll kick over to Jay Black.
Yes, it's going down tonight. Pay-per-view. If you're not in the building, get your pay-per-view. Avocado is directing that first matchup, Geechi Gotti versus Av. My initial thoughts, it's a good battle. They could be feeding Geechi to the Shark. You know what I mean? Shark City, that's the name, Shark City Av. But this is his home field. You know, I feel like Geechi Gotti gets more power, more strength. And I feel like Av, he reacts in a less confident way when a crowd isn't in his favor. I'm slightly going to Geechi Gotti favor. How you feel?
Yeah, feel the same way you do. There's just Av obviously has the punchlines, has one of the best punchliners that we have in the game right now. But Geechi Gotti, he gives you that feel, and he just does not perform. The last guy he faced who gave you that feel was Shotgun, and that's a debatable battle. But in the building,
Exactly.
Suge clearly took it. So I think now you add to the fact that it's West Coast, you add the fact that Geechi Gotti has been on a streak. We've seen what he did with, Geechi tried to punch against him, and then we got a classic battle out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if Av comes with the best Av we've seen, the same Av we've seen against Rum Nitty, then it could be a classic. But anything less than that, and I'm not going to say he was slacking, but I will say that we so far in 2017 we'll be getting less than that from Av.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to pick Geechi Gotti in this one. So I got Geechi 2-1.
Okay.
I agree with Geechi 2-1.
Oh, wow.
In all fairness to Av, I think he's making a good comeback, if you would, after all the allegations about barring, stealing, call it what you will. And to your point about Geechi having a classic with Luizzi, I think people are talking more about his battle or that battle versus the last two of Av's battles. So I think that Geechi wants to continue this momentum and eventually come to the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody even come close to beating Geechi Gotti or making him feel uncomfortable in the West Coast so far. So
yeah, I think it's just obvious angles out there, and I feel like Av is just a straight puncher. I don't see him approaching Geechi Gotti how he deserves to be approached. Now, if it was T-Top in front of Geechi Gotti, it'd been a different battle. With that being said, I got Geechi Gotti 2-1 slightly. If Av comes with the confidence and just, I don't care what the crowd feels about being wrapped straight through, Av can probably take this. But next matchup, Rum Nitty versus DNA. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. No, he wants to pick this one. It's going to be a good one. The one DNA has been, again, you've talked about this, he's been having a great 2017 so far. A lot of great battles. One type of battler he hasn't faced this year so far is another puncher, right? He faced A-Ward, that was a great battle. A-Ward is known more for angles.
Yeah.
He faced Jims. Again, Jim's known for angles, being funny. Hasn't really faced a puncher, and DNA does not have a great record when it comes to facing punchers. When you look at it, a few years ago now, he got 3-0 by B-Magic. To be fair, DNA has stepped up his game. He's now punching a lot more often, but I think he's jabbing. He's jabbing you back to back. He'll throw 5 jabs and 5 lines. Whereas Rum Nitty, I think he is more. He's got more setups, and it takes time to get there, but he's got haymakers.
Yes, he does.
And haymakers, especially in the Smack crowd and the Smack West Coast crowd, where I think that crowd is going to be electric, and they will get behind the haymakers. So that's why I got Nitty taking this one.
Okay. I agree with Nitty 2-1 as well. For me, this is the hardest battle to call. One of the interesting dynamics I see is that Nitty is the gun line king, and DNA is known to turn anything into a gun. So, I'm curious to see.
That's a machete spray.
Thank you. So I'm curious to see how that will play out during the battle. But I agree with all the punches and being heavier. And I know that Nitty's had an interesting year. He had a great win over Trez, and then before that, I believe it was the Double Impact 2 battle was, to me, the battle of the night. Close loss there, but I think that he has more momentum coming into this battle.
So Rum Nitty.
Yes, sir.
I got DNA. I have DNA. I was leaning towards Rum Nitty before DNA's last matchup at RB Pearly Gates, and he showed improve. He took a good, I think, 2 to 3 months off, so he has time to recollect and focus. And he's on the West Coast. I don't think Rum Nitty can deal with an overall package like DNA. I just don't see it happening that clearly. And I feel like the freestyle factor is going to be a big factor, because we're talking about crowds and how you feel over there. So once DNA takes a crowd back and flips one of Rum Nitty's biggest lines, they'll be more receptive to DNA. So he won't face the same pressure as Av. That's not, particularly familiar with that crowd. So slightly in my favor based on last performances, Rum Nitty's last 2 performances and DNA's last performances in preparation, DNA.
But Nitty can freestyle too now.
Hey, you're right.
You've seen what he did against Chef Trez, right?
Yeah.
One of the hottest lines of the year, probably. When we, I'm sure when we discuss that thing.
The PH and the Unreal Kick.
Yeah, the Unreal Kick, yeah.
Yeah, but I still think there's a separation, Rum Nitty's starting out with the freestyles, and DNA's been here, back into the real deals in front of the pizza shop. Like, he's up here, so I don't see,
I will say this, I think my personal favorite DNA performance ever was against Danger Zone.
Yeah.
And it's because he had that third round where he came with an angle. So if he just does, back-to-back punchlines, which are, again, there's a lot of them, but some of them can be kind of simple and a little light. I think Rum Nitty is just going to be too much for him. But if he might surprise us. He might come with an angle or might come with, something we don't see coming. So it's possible. I still have Nitty to 1 though.
That's a good point. I just think if DNA, because DNA has for the past few battles tried to punch back to back to back to back. You don't want to punch with Nitty. Go back to your overall style of how you approach battles, and that's more in your favor that way. Let's get to the next one. Ill Will versus Shotgun Suge.
Can I take this one first? Okay. I'm going to say it right now. For me, this is the battle of the night.
Oh!
Yes.
Big claims!
For me, it's the battle of the night.
JCT top is here. Disaster versus Tay Roc.
I know.
Go ahead.
We'll get into it.
Finish your statements.
This is definitely the battle of the night. I've got an edge to Suge, 2-1. How do I say this? I feel like Suge can't be that tough guy that he is with Ill Will, because I think he's not going to take that pocket check aside. So I hope that it doesn't come to a pocket tap or check and it gets physical in any way. So I hope that I don't foresee that being a problem. But it's very interesting to see how that'll play out. But I just think that although Ill can sort of counteract, I think it's just going to be too much from Suge.
See, this is where me and you disagree.
That's okay.
It's always going to disagree.
So, let me talk about what Shotgun has an edge in, and that's the fact that Ill Will has battled a week ago, had a great battle against Daylight. Shotgun, he was supposed to battle Head Ice, didn't battle. I'm sure he has some gun lines, some aggression, kind of basic applies to everyone bars, say from that battle. So, everything else, I don't see what area is Suge better than Ill Will in. They both can be aggressive. They can both, get in your face and, be a bully. But Ill Will can also freestyle. He can be funny. He can tell stories. He's more lyrical. I just don't see what can Shotgun really do except have more bars, whereas Ill Will might have slightly less time to prepare. But assuming that they're both, in top form, I have Ill Will winning. Because Ill Will battled a week ago and Shotgun has battled in a while, I'm not going to say it's a 3-0. I'm going to say it's 2-1 Ill.
I'm going to agree with Pat here. I have Shotgun Suge 2-1. I think, and I feel like Ill Will has the presence. He has the factor of it, but I think Shotgun Suge has more of the presence, more of the star qualities than Ill Will does. And honestly, seeing Ill Will did what he did a week ago on Pearly Gates, it was really, normally if I see you do good a week ago, or, I'm like, it's going to do good again. For Ill Will, it's different. I don't see him devoting that much time and coming up with that good of material back to back. It's hard for me to see Ill Will. If Ill Will does that, no problem, sir. You're my good graces, but I'll be surprised to see that. But one thing I don't want to happen is Ill Will said you can't pocket tab me, Shotgun Suge. Now, Shotgun Suge is on the West, where I think the 103s. So I'm not gonna get too much in detail, but his gang is there. He feels a little more stronger. So he has all rights to attempt a pocket tap, but hopefully y'all don't do it and mess up the event. Do not mess up the event, guys.
Too good of it. Too good of an event.
Come on, please. And y'all the middle battle. Y'all not the last battle. like how when Math and Diz happened, it was the last battle. Anywho, not going to more into that, but I have Shotgun Suge 2-1.
Here's a question, and I don't know how much time we want to devote to this because we have a lot of battles to cover, but has pocket tap been that effective? And here's why I'm asking, because yes, it does get, it's a haymaker every round he does it, but it always gets rebuttal. Yeah. It always gets rebuttal with an equal haymaker right back, and we know Ill Will can rebuttal.
Yeah. It's dependent on how Ill Will approaches the pocket tap. Like, the pocket tap versus Goods, ineffective.
Mm-hmm.
The way Goods made him feel, he's like, yeah, go pocket tap this one, pocket tap the right one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Ill Will's going to take that approach. If he's on camera saying, or some type of audio he put out there, you can't pocket tap me. So that gives us as the fans more credibility. Suge, like, 'cause you just told the man he can't pocket tap you, he pocket taps you. You might get a little bit of credit for that.
Sure.
So
That's fair. I just don't know. Even with that said, he might, and that's why I said I have one round to Suge.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the round he gets. But I see, even if he does get pocket tap, I see it rebattling and starting off with a haymaker, starting off his second round with a haymaker.
and
Right
he's
back.
strong with the freestyles.
Sip this tea.
Yep. That's a good strong point. Next one. Danny Myers versus K-Shine. Pat, do you want to make the announcement?
Sure. It's already been announced, but congratulations to K-Shine and his wife. They recently had their child, so unfortunately K-Shine can't attend, so he can be with his family at this time. So we have learned that there will be a replacement for Danny.
It's gonna be a replacement for Danny. We have no clue who. It's
Right.
supposed to be in the surprise battle. Hopefully they get someone of equal caliber to K-Shine. That would be dope, but I doubt it in like a week's notice because Danny Myers he has millions of bars, but I don't think any of the top tier other than DNA. And DNA is already on the card, so who else would you get? That's a surprise, and they're gonna have a surprise battle apparently. So, how do you feel about this?
Danny 3-0. No, I have no idea, man.
Maybe.
Listen, obviously, again, we haven't seen Danny Myers in a while. I've seen a few bloggers say that we might get the best Danny we've seen in a very long time. I agree with that, so I think he's going to be ready. Hopefully, he give him a good opponent. That's it. All the thing you can say.
Yes, and also it should be pointed out that as we talk about the card, most people haven't been out there. This is actually Danny's third traffic event.
Mhm.
Only DNA and Rum Nitty have been on at least one other one.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he's able to be on this one as well, despite the last minute change. And along those lines, credit to URL for making the announcement early enough to let people know that this battle won't happen, so it's not too much of a unpleasant surprise live during the event.
All right. The next one, hey, this is going to be a debate here, people. First, again, congratulations to K-Shine. Outside of battle rap, I love things like that. JC versus T-Top. Mike, it seems like you want to go first.
Oh, this is a tough one. This is the toughest one to predict, man. I honestly have no idea who is going to take this one. I have T-Top 2-1, personally. It's a tough one, man. At some point, right? So here's why I have T-Top winning. My two reasons. One, at some point, JC, he's not in the... saying he's just a punchliner, it's not an insult, because being a punchliner is not an insult, but that undercuts what he does. It's more than just punchlines. But he is a wordsmith, right? He relies on good writing and lines and bars. And at some point, man, I think he might run out. He, again, also had a battle a week ago.
Yeah.
Had a battle against Ilmac. Great battle. Lots of bars in that one.
Yeah.
Before, this is, I believe, his fifth battle this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be.
It's a lot. It's getting up there. It's getting up there. And the only person that he struggled against in this whole year was BK.
BK, yes.
And BK, a guy who can punch, and the guy, but it wasn't the punches that killed JC. It was the angle. It was him getting Capri Sun, if you will, in the third year.
You're a baby.
Yeah, you were just a baby, exactly. And T-Top, he can do the same thing, man. He's got bars, but on top of it, he's got angles. And we saw what he did to Av.
Yeah.
Av got punches for days, but T-Top made it almost irrelevant. And again, I could be completely wrong. We might get JC, he might just pass on 3-0. Again, it could go either way. Neither one of them. I don't think I've seen T-Top battle on the West Coast. I don't think I've seen JC battle on the West Coast. Top of my head,
I don't think so.
I can't think of it. So again, it's a new audience for both of them. But just with factoring in everything, I have T-Top. I think it's going to be a classic now. I do think it's going to be a great battle. Even JC, who might not have quote unquote ran out of bars, he's still going to have bars. He just might not be top. His 100% best bars. Yeah. He's already used the flow dirty. He's already used some of the best material that might have helped him out in this battle, because it's going to be a tough battle. So I still think it's going to be a classic battle. I should have T-Top 2-1.
Okay. Well, I agree it's going to be a classic. I have to take the other side and go with JC. And you're right about the number of battles. This would be number 6 for him. undoubtedly he's 3-0 this year on URL with wins over Nitty, Trez, and Chess. Probably
Yes.
out of order, but so pardon me there. But I also agree he did lose to Big K. But I think that when you look at his URL body of work, he's chasing Lux. And I think that this is a very inspirational for other battlers who want to make a career path for them, whether they're getting to URL or on URL and want to get up the tier or the card, whatever you want to call it. And I think he's doing this for him. And that he sees the end goal as Lux. And now, is T-Top the end of the road to get to Lux? Probably not. But I think he wants this win because maybe one more battle happens and then he sees Lux sometime middle of next year.
I agree with mostly everything you just said. I couldn't have said it better than you. I'm not allowed to go against JC. I've predicted so many times, JC, you're going to lose. The only person that I'm going to predict to beat JC is Loaded Lux. He keeps proving me wrong. You know, he's going to at me on Twitter. He's going to say, Jay Black, you're wrong. I don't want to be wrong again. And I love your points that you made for T-Top. I know it's so valid, but it's against the rules right now for me to go against JC. I got JC 2-1. But I think if anyone can do it, like you said with the Big K stuff, it is T-Top. T-Top has been hitting on Twitter. He's been on his Instagram, I think, too. Like he has the perfect angle for him. It's a way you can dress up the fact that he doesn't deserve Lux or you're being thirsty for Lux. And that could be a strong approach. And also the fact that, like you said, too, they're on the West Coast. This is a new audience. JC has the New York URL crowd under wraps. He comes on stage, just looks at you, and the crowd goes crazy. So if he doesn't get that same vibe, he's going to look different.
Right.
So, but I still got JC 2-1, even though I just said that against him. Go.
Sorry, I just think, again, in a neutral audience, man, I just think
Neutral
T-Top
audience.
has more presence. It's the slightest edge, man. I really do want it to come across. I think JC, you've been talking about battle rap over a year. We have to be talking about JC. We have to mention there's really only 2 contenders, and JC is one of them.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't want to disrespect him in any way, shape, or form. I just think T-Top, again, he has learned from Goods. We've seen what he did against Av, and after that, man, I don't know, the presence and the angles and everything that he can do against JC. If JC does win this one, after having a debatable against a great Elmac out in New York, and that's, by the way, that's a check for him too. Not only do you have but you can say I brought Elmac to East Coast.
A legend.
Yeah, absolutely legend. And
First time in 11 years. Sorry.
No, first time, yeah. And then he beats a good T-Top on URL, one of the top gun, honestly, gunners, smacks gunners.
Yeah.
I do think, there's only so many challenges left, to get Lux. So that will definitely be a huge notch in his belt. If he can do it, I don't think he will. But we'll see.
All right. Next up on the card, on the plate, the big one. The big one, URL has made it happen. They have finally brought Disaster back since his T-Rex performance in New York. Disaster versus URL's face, URL's Jesus, Tay Roc. Pat, how you feeling?
I'm probably going to get in some trouble, some controversy with this one, but it's okay. I've got Roc winning all 3. I can't.
Let's go, Pat.
I'm a fan of Diz. The way I see this, Roc is coming off a 2-1 win over Hollow, and Diz a 0-3 loss to Oxy, in all fairness.
Oh.
And I just feel that there's too much negativity behind Disaster between the last battle, the controversy with his status with KOTD. I just feel like there's too much going against him that he has to defend off against someone like Tay Roc who can battle anybody and who doesn't need to bring up this kind of stuff, but he can do it better than most and just add to the arsenal of what he's doing. And I can't give him a round. As much as I want to, there's too much going on. I really don't see it. And then one of the things I'm somewhat concerned about is if he brings up some mention about gun titles or surf, that things could get a little ugly, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But I'm very interested. I probably am wrong about this, but I'll be okay with that. But maybe 2-1, but I have to give it Roc 3-0.
Okay.
Man, first of all, predicting a disaster battle. You have me back here again to predict how Disaster's gonna do. I guess if anybody knows what's gonna happen with disaster battles.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh man, there was an interview. I forgot. I think it was a Hip Hop Is Real. If I'm wrong, I do apologize if it was a different source. That talked to Tay Roc in the beginning of the year about battling Hollow, potentially about battling Disaster, potentially. And he said that battling this is by far way bigger challenge than battling Hollow, the way he sees it. So, and we saw what he prepared for Hollow, and that was, you know, a classic battle, right? So that means he must have prepared that much harder for Disaster. And so now we have fully prepared Tay Roc against a Disaster who is an enigma, right? I do think if they're both at their best, at their peak, Disaster's peak is just, it's bigger, right? He can do more things than Tay Roc can do. Again, with multisyllabics, with angles, with being funny, with freestyling. Tay Roc is gun bars. He's the best at it, but that's the one thing that he has, right? So, but man, I don't know. I know we're gonna get. It's almost the same thing when we discussed Oxymoron battle, right?
Yeah.
I said we're gonna get a fully prepared Oxymoron. We don't know what we're gonna get with Disaster.
Exactly.
We're gonna get a fully prepared Tay Roc. I think it's gonna be. I don't even think the second round is gonna. He might get that second round Tay Roc all 3 rounds. We legit might get that. You know, the way he's been talking about this battle. With Disaster, we don't know. So I agree. I have Tay Roc 2-1.
Tay Roc across the board. Let me try to give some type of defense to Disaster right here. Like you said, Tay Roc is always coming in 100%, and salute and shout out to Tay Roc for even going to the West Coast. He said, I don't want Disaster in New York. I want to go to where he can't make any excuses, and that's in LA. Disaster's his ceiling is extremely high, but the thing about, I feel like even if Disaster tells you, I'm so prepared, I'm so ready, he doesn't know if he's going to hit that ceiling or not. To me, his ceiling was against Cannabis. And if someone just told me, like, listen, Diz Cannabis to come in, I'd be like, oh yeah, Diz 2-1, he'll take it. We have no clue. But we have 100% facts on what Tay Roc's going to do. I'm already giving him the second round for this battle and his next 3 battles to come. So now that leads me to the first and the third. When's the last time has Diz closed out a strong battle? Like really closed it out, shut him down, strong angle. So now I need you to do that. So I don't even know if you're going to do that. And then the first round, I may give Diz the first round and that's it.
Right, just off the energy.
Yeah, off the energy.
Tay Roc takes a while to hit up. This comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the energy, Diz, it's got a mountain to climb. First of all, you got to battle the fact that can you do good on the Euro stage again? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's nightmares of you versus Rex. You know, just getting married. They just got canned at the back of the whip, just getting married. You know, I even played clips to motivate you. I made sure to put that in there, you know, to motivate you. So this is not in your favor. Also, if you could bring that vibe, the West Coast vibe, the West Coast street vibe, and make it like, okay, Tay Roc is trying to move in and claim this as his home. First, you got to shut that down first. If you can strip Rock of the crowd in the first round, this could be in your favor. That's the first thing that has to happen for anyone to be inclined to giving Diz the win. Strip Rock of his powers, which is the crowd. If the crowd is not cheering Rock on, it's gonna look a little awkward between those bars. I don't see Diz doing that though. Tay Roc 2-1.
And again, there's so much more that Tay Roc can talk about. Just since their last battles, right? First of all, there's, I think the Oxymoron Disaster battle was classic. Yeah. But there was the angle of you lost to a dude in his third language. That's probably what get brought up. Again, and I'm not saying Tay Roc is good with angles, but he's good for a line or two. You all know the King of the Dot. Yeah. That's going to get brought up. Yeah. There's just a lot. What can you say about Tay Roc, really? In the past few years. Yeah. He's just I guess, he could bring up he lost to Sharon. but besides that, there's not much you can really say to him. So, man, I just have, again, Tay Roc is going to come with 3 rounds of amazingness. And I don't see that from this, to be honest with you. So.
And I think this ties back to our earlier comments when we were talking to JC and T-Top. Rock has mentioned that after this battle, he's taking some time off. I think he's looking for conceded in his next battle. So I think he wants to go out with a win, a clear win, and take some time off to prepare for the next battle. I think that winning this will help him. Because I think if he feels like he lost, or the fans feel like he lost, then maybe he has to battle somebody else to get back into the swing of things before getting that potential next battle.
Okay. Tay Roc.
Tay Roc.
Tay Roc.
Yeah.
If you win this one, you will bring the West Coast. You will put them on. It'll be a new day. Everything that you're promising happens with this win. So make sure you win. But it's in Tay Roc's favor. I got to go with the face value. Champion.
Champion.
I be damn, mama. They know who I am, mama. Still your little boy. To them, I'm the man, mama. Smile a bit. I shook a couple hands, mama. I'm getting there. I made a couple bands.